So, I'm going to be doing a review on the Boba Fett mech. So, this set released in August of 2023 for a retail price of $16, and this has set number 75369, 155 pieces, one minifigure, and an age rating of 6 plus. Alright, so the one and only figure in the set is Boba Fett. And this is definitely a very good Boba Fett figure. First off, he does have very nice arm printing, which looks pretty good. I am very happy that LEGO included it. A spot where the figure does shine is his face print, because it is finally an accurate to more Morrison face. Because previous Boba Fett figures would mainly just include regular faces, like angry clone heads, or just pretty standard face prints. But this one looks very good. I especially like the stubble and the scarring, and there is even a bit of printing at the back of his head. But the major point of criticism with this figure is the fact that he doesn't include his cloth pauldron. And there really isn't any reason why he shouldn't have, because the figure can fit perfectly fine with it in the mech, and I will demonstrate that later. Just because if the figure did include it, he would have definitely been one of the best Boba Fett minifigures, at least in recent years. And if you're curious, this is back print, which I do appreciate because it is going to be covered up by the jetpack anyway. But I mean, overall, it's a pretty good figure. He just should have included his pauldron. Alright, so the main build is, well, Boba Fett's mech. And the mechs are interesting. I'm just not a huge fan of the Star Wars mechs, just because I feel like microfighters are way better and make more sense. And the mechs just make more sense in Marvel and DC. But it does actually have a bit of posability right here for their arms and here at their more waist. And also a bit of posability at their ankles. Which is okay, I guess. It's just, for some reason, on the newer mechs, Marvel included, they completely removed the joints on their elbows and knees, which just really restricts the movement and playability, and it also makes it not look as good. And plus, with these ones, I feel like the limbs are just way too thick. Because, like, right here, it is an entire 2 bricks thick, which, you know, is kind of a lot. And it's not as bad in their arms, it's still pretty bad. In their hands, well, they're more lack thereof, just because their whole hand is essentially just melded with their arm. It looks more like a stub with fingers. And you can move just these 3 a bit, there's not too much, and you cannot move the thumb. But you might have noticed this giant blaster, and it doesn't look that particularly good, but you could fire the stud shooter on the top, and you could take it out if you wanted, but there would be the random technical. But at the back, he does have a jetpack, and there are supposed to be 2 of those things, another one right there, but the other one fell off, and I cannot find mine anywhere. But there is actually the missile, which you can flick off, and the flick fire missiles do really hurt your fingers. But on the front right there, there is a printed tile, which actually looks pretty good. And you can open this up and put the figure in right there. And you can close it up. And it doesn't look the best particularly, just because I feel like he sticks out a bit too much, because you can see like half his torso. And back for the pauldron, it doesn't get folded up that much. It's perfectly fine. It's a clip right there, so you can put Boba Fett's blaster. And there is actually another one on the other side. And that's essentially it. And I know that I really crapped on the actual builds, and I was definitely being a bit nitpicky, and I know that this whole thing is meant to be just a simple build for children. This whole set isn't meant to be something that adult collectors can also reasonably buy, like a starter store or an ATT. This is meant to just be a small set for a kid where they can get a decent action figure-like build and a figure. But if you're an adult collector, or someone who just likes to collect Legos in general, you should only really get the set for the minifigures. Like I said, it is a very good Boba Fett figure, but this is also a pretty good set to get a kid. because I imagine that younger kids would definitely enjoy this a lot more than a more serious collector. But overall, I would give the set about a 5 out of 10.